Hey guys, and welcome back to the Ringer 57 YouTube channel. Today's video is just an unedited-ish quick talk about Suzi and where we're going from here. So Suzi right now is gutted, as you can tell. I did have a subscriber, and I want to thank him very much, send me a new front headlight bezel, support, and a brake lever. So we have everything from the fall fixed, short of some scratches, nicks, dings, all that good jazz. So, moving forward, what are the plans? We're going to be adding a sweet nitrous setup. We'll be revealing that here shortly. We're going to be ditching the second kit. We're going to a single kit. We're going to stick with this engine to start the season. Dial everything in on this engine. Marcus McBain is currently working on my shock. It's usually, I think he said 6 weeks out. Not a big deal. We got a shock on it. We can roll it. We're good until next year. That is going to be the biggest change, is the suspension. The wiring, we're going to go ahead. We got a wiring harness hanging over here. You'll see it in the corner. This is an 8-foot flying lead. There we go. We'll get it down for y'all. 8-foot flying lead for our micro. And we are going to basically attack Suzi from scratch. Now, I know everything that needs to be wired. I know how it needs to be laid out. So we're going to start out without spaghetti. We are using the micro strictly for ECU, the engine control. Okay? It's going to be strictly an engine control unit. Nitrous is on standalone. Air shifters on standalone. We are going to be going to coil on plug to ditch the spark plug wire issues we've been having throughout the year. That's the biggest changes, guys. I suppose I could introduce you to the new nitrous system. I'll give you a quick peek of the base of it. I'm not going to get into some big detail, but you can see here we got a new dash bracket hanging there and nitrous outlet Pro Max controller. So this is the baddest progressive controller on the market. Nitrous Express makes one similar. Nitrous outlet's who I've always gone with ever since I got my first kit. I got a Nitrous Express. I wasn't thrilled with it. So I went on to Nitrous Outlet from there, and I've lived with them from that point forward because I like what they got. There's really not a lot else to cover, guys. We have to get the air shifter redone so the solenoid, the MAC valve is directly on the ram. We have to get that pivot a little more free spinning. I need to build a grudge shifter arm. They don't make one for a Bandit, so we're going to build our own grudge arm. Basically, I'll have to put it in here with my freaking hand, but whatever, it is what it is. We're sticking with hand clutch. That's the bulk. Rewire from scratch. Power distribution is going to be a complete revamp, guys. I've got it up here on the wall. Whole lot simpler system for power distribution. The battery's going to the back. The headlight's going back on. We're going to have a headlight we can turn on and off as needed. All the switches and crap that were up here in the cluster of spaghetti wiring, that's going to be gone. Just going for a cleaner setup more than anything. Are we going to run faster? The shock should make us run substantially faster, guys. So we ran a 590, bucking and hopping and banging and popping. So I want to go out there, squat, sit, rebound, and run. That's what I want it to do. That's what it should do. Right now it squats, pops, rebounds, pops, and bangs all the way down the track. And the second kit of nitrous, I was getting to the point where it was such a big shot and I was stretching my injectors so far, I was struggling to get air fuels the way I wanted them to be. So rather than fighting with that, we're going to let that Pro Max adjust for us. We will be running it in AFR mode, which allows it to compensate small amounts for bottle pressure drop, fuel pressure fluctuations. Air fuel through the O2 will be monitored on the wideband, and it'll correct everything for me a little bit. Now, I'll still have to change pills, and it will be a wet shot. But once I get close on the pill size, like as close as physically possible, it should be pretty dang good. Hopefully we can lose the pops and bangs. The air shifter, the goal there is to get our shift point off of the limiter. Our nitrous off before the shift. I want to roll out, hit the nitrous, roll into the nitrous, shift, nitrous comes back on, go again. So the best way to do that is going to be to control the nitrous by speed, in my personal belief. I could set it up where I have launch control again, and that triggers the nitrous on a timer. But I really think the best way to go about this is going to be by speed. We got to come up with a wheel speed sensor, not a big deal. We'll move forward from there, guys. So we'll have a lot more log data, a lot more information to work with, and hopefully Suzi-Q will be a more dependable run. It may not be much faster. Like on this motor, I will be giddy as shit to get a 560. If we can get a 560 pushing it to its limits and 590 is reliable, I'll be pretty giddy. The new motor, oh, my foot. I think I broke my ankle. But anyway, that is a whole nother ball game. So I've gotten in touch with an engine builder. He has accepted the build. The billet block will be going off to him along with a core in March-ish, February, March, along with a deposit. This is going to be expensive. Okay, we are talking porting the head, changing the guides, changing the seats, oversized valves, aftermarket rockers, aftermarket springs, webcams, custom cut to what I want. Let's go downward. We need to cut the billet block, re-sleeve it. 85 or 86 millimeter pistons. We're not going to go 88. He prefers not to. He says it'll rev quicker and have more power running 85. So we're going to go with 85. I'm going to go with his information because the man's built some fast bikes, specifically oil cooled. Carrillo rods. I'm probably going to have him send the crank off and get it knife edged and balanced, micro balanced. Back cut trans, ceramic trans bearings, new rod bearings and main bearings, obviously. Studs all the way around. The whole block's going to be studded. What else did he have in there? He had a list. Oh, oil pan mod to increase the oil pressure, 100 psi oil pressure maintained. I'm going to put an oil pressure sensor in this somewhere so I can monitor the oil pressure. And if it starts to fade down, I know my bearings are going. Because he says that what I'm pushing, what I'm planning, I'm going to lose main bearings here and there. I may have to re-bearing it mid-season. Not a huge deal. It's $150, $200 for a set of bearings. We roll a set of bearings and it we go. He'll give me part numbers so I can just reorder as I go. New timing chain, shift drum clearance, bunch of crap. He's got a whole list. But anyway, in the end, I figured it was going to be $4,000 to $6,000. He said you better figure it at $6,000 or higher. So I'm figuring, bottom line, at least $6,000 on this engine. But I told him I want 200 wheel horsepower on motor with the injection system I have. And he said, easy. I said, I want 590 to 560, preferably 590 bracket capable. So I want to be able to go out there and hit a 590 on motor all day long, 560 on spray, and just have two tunes. So I can run a 590 class and a 560 class all day long. I may look into a charging system back on this bike, but at this time I'm not planning to. It killed my ECU twice. I don't really feel like putting another one back in it. That's the gist of it, guys. So the goal here, Suzi, 590 and 560 bracketable, engine and gas. And then I told him my end goal, I want to be able to at least make one 760 pass. Okay, I want to run a 760 anything in the freaking quarter mile. And he said, I'm going to need 150 shot progressed on top of the motor. That's 350 horsepower, and he said he can get me there. Mark's shock should be able to get me there. So, we'll see. Something we need to really look into for next year is a set of lightweight wheels. I had a set found, I didn't get them because it was a long drive, like 14 hours one way, and I've been working 7 days a week. So I'm really tempted. I found them. They make them with the spacer kits for this bike, BST wheels, but they're $3,000 a set. And then I got $600 in ceramic bearings to order, lightweight cut rotors to order. I'd be looking at $4,500 in wheels, tires, package. So I don't know if I'm going to go that way or not. We may stick with what we got until we decide to go for the big run with the big motor, which will probably be mid to late season next year. To be honest, maybe late season next year. Next year's goal is 590s consistently on this motor so I can actually compete and go try and win some money with this bike. And then we will progress onwards and hopefully, okay, this goal is entirely reliant on the motor getting done and in the bike by the end of season next year. I want to run a low 8. I'd really love to crack a 7 by the end of next year. But the end goal really, let's set the hard goal. Hard goal, I want to run a low 5. So that means anything under 550. If I can get anything under 550 next year, I'll jump for joy, be giddy, and that'll be goal accomplished. Last year I set a goal of 590. We got it. Jump for joy. We were giddy. It's accomplished. The year before that, 6 anything. We busted into the 6s and then kept diving deeper, all the way down into the 16s. Now this is a 6000 bracket bike right now. I could go out and run 6.0s consistently, just chucking that old wiring harness on there, throwing everything back in and going. But is it going to come out a 6.0 bracket? Who knows? We're going to make some changes, a lot of them, and we're going to start over again. We'll start out making motor passes, dialing it in, then we'll step up, start ramming the nitrous in. The next series will be, we're going to probably work on the shifter next, to be honest. Right now I'm working on buttoning up that 450. I didn't do a lot of videos on it, guys. It kicked my ass, and we found other issues with it. But we'll get in depth on that, and it sounds like it's coming back for the other issues. So that's good news. Bad news, it's coming back. That bike, I think, broke my ankle today. Have a beautiful day, guys.